Hi, I'm Krista Bailey with IU South Bend Center for a Sustainable Future, here with another feature about how you can experience sustainable Michiana. So today I'm in Howard Park with Executive Director Aaron Perry. Now this is a park people maybe have been to but haven't realized really what's going on here to make this a sustainable cornerstone of our community.
Yeah.
So first of all, people may or may not notice, I know you love about this building.
Our cornerstones.
The cornerstones that are a nod to the history of this community.
Yeah, this is the city's very first park, and it actually used to be a landfill at one point in time. And of course, early on it was native wetlands and whatnot. European settlement led to this becoming a landfill. Eventually, councilman, local judge Tim Howard thought that maybe this should become a public place of pleasure. And so in 1899, it becomes the city's very first park. In the mid-1950s, we had ice skating and kind of make it a more modern facility. And of course, that saw its day, and we've totally reinvented it into what you see today.
And that's a great story, because what we're going to see here is all of that kind of revitalized and revived. But what folks might not be noticing that makes this sort of a sustainability experience, well, of course, there's recycling bins. All over, clearly marked. Thank you for
Entry level
that.
for us, but yes, that was really important. And you know, the building itself, even how we positioned it, you know, right on Jefferson, and used all of the kind of regional materials in terms of the limestone and reclaimed wood, and you know, all of the native plantings. And this is just sustainability was one of the 4 guiding principles that we put into play as we designed the park. And there's a lot of things under the hood, like you said, that people might not notice.
What should we be watching for inside the building that people may or may not be noticing as a sustainability experience?
Yeah, well, first it's all the mechanicals, right? Everything is energy efficient to the nines. The glass itself, in terms of minimizing heat transfer and sunlight, but capturing it in the winter months. We did a south-facing building. Even how we positioned the building, you know, in the winter we have that southern sun exposure. We want to capture that. If we have that sunlight coming in and heating this space naturally, that helps.
So those little things you don't realize, but that are very important to how this building operates.
All of that into consideration, even things like the you know, the low flow toilets and the water bottle filling stations, and our ice skating experience. Interestingly enough, we actually melt the ice. So we have the Zamboni that goes around and shaves off the ice. Typically that's discarded outside of a facility. You'll see a mountain of ice. We put ice melting in there so we could circulate the water back into the system.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Why get rid of that?
We're obviously in an interesting time right here in the global pandemic, but I think soon you'll see an empty storefront on Jefferson. The catalyst that comes through a place like this is incredible. The number of people that come through this facility. Matter of fact, in the first few months alone, we opened in November and then almost had to close down altogether come March, but in those first few months we saw about 250,000 people through the park. That's an incredible, I mean, for a town of 100,000, that's an incredible number of people coming through this facility.
Well, and that's another piece of having a sustainability experience, right? It's economically sound, environmentally friendly, restorative, in fact. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But having a place for people to congregate and to be good social spaces, not just acknowledging our history, but coming together around the fireplace. We've got meeting rooms, exercise rooms, indoor, outdoor space for everybody.
That's right.
So it's a beautiful model. Let's look outside at some of these lovely features you've got built in here.
Great.
Well, this is fun and different.
Yeah, that's part of what we call surprise and delight. You'll find it throughout the park. Just, you know, neat encounters. We used upcycled wood to do that. We built them in-house. So
oh, really?
More social places, you know, for people to be entertained. We really wanted to reinforce that this was a 4-season park. You know, we got the ice skating, the water features, the playgrounds, but even outdoor spaces in the seasons. Our planting beds, you'll see seasonally change, again, throughout all 4 seasons.
They've just been gorgeous.
They have
so
been.
far.
And I've been surprised to see what comes up. I can't wait to see what fall is. So it was really important to us too that we use like trees in areas that would provide natural shade, kind of help with that urban heat impact, there are 3 times as many trees as there were in the old Howard Park.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because people ask me, like, gosh, they really tore out a lot of trees.
Yeah.
They have put in a ton of trees.
Unfortunately, when you do a redevelopment project, particularly one to this scale, you know, sometimes you do have to sacrifice those trees, and that was a hard day. But what we gained was, again, 3 times as many trees, 30,000 native plantings throughout the park.
Wow.
And we were able to raise, one of the reasons that we had to remove a lot of the trees, because we raised the park, 75,000 tons of fill to help make this a more usable space throughout all 4 seasons. Otherwise, it was susceptible to flooding quite a bit, if you remember.
Oh, absolutely.
And so this helps us have that kind of more usable park, but it'll be a matter of years till these trees really start to mature and provide the kind of environmental impacts that we want to see.
Well, it'll be fun to watch that happen.
It will be.
And I know some of the things I've noticed happening in the park. Well, one, tons of bike racks. Thank you for that. You know,
yes,
I love that. So I can come in and park. We've got little doggy bags. We want to bring your dogs for walks. And here, there's been live music in the park and people enjoying the park and the arts and the view of the river, which is priceless.
Well, programmatically, it's been a challenge this year with the pandemic, but we're still able to have small pop-up events, and it's working. I can't wait until we can have those really large-scale ones back. But we designed this park to be used, again, not only through all 4 seasons, but it's kind of a chameleon in nature, right? This is an event lawn where you can picnic and throw the Frisbee and hang out, or we can have major concerts or smaller concerts, depending on...
Isn't that what parks should be?
That's
is
right.
Sort of being able to adapt and flex and provide something for everyone.
Absolutely.
Even stuff that used to be here, like we were talking about when we first got here, how there used to be, you know, floods and wetlands here. We've got elements of that here along the river. I wonder if we can take a little closer look, because right now it's, you know, people might look at it and say, well, it looks like a hot mess. But you have signs. We're trying to educate people, but also, you know, we may have some flooding there again, right? The river does a lot of crazy stuff.
It was designed to accept the river. You've got to give, especially in this kind of era of climate change, we've got to give space for our natural resources to grow and expand and breathe. And so that was important. We built that right into the park, kind of a floodplain area that looks like the native wetland that was probably always here before European settlement. So that was important to us as well. And throwing the educational component there, it certainly helps people understand. Even things like our lighting, we had to make sure that all of our lighting complied with dark sky standards. So you'll see they're hooded, they don't shine up and contribute to any form of light pollution. They're also a color temperature that's a little bit warmer in nature, so it's not mimicking daylight at night, which then doesn't mess with animal migration patterns or even human circadian rhythms. You know, there's been plenty of studies about that. So
I'm glad you mentioned the lights, because I've been admiring them since they went in, and very appreciative that this
it'll be
park
a new standard
polluting
throughout the whole park system. So eventually you'll see this.
So we'll see these everywhere.
They'll be updated throughout and whatnot.
Nice.
So, we did make sure we managed all the stormwater on site. We don't send anything that we don't have to the sewer system. We recycle as much water as possible. I mentioned how the ice skating ice is melted and kind of recirculated into the system, as well as the Rask family fountains. That's all recirculated, so it's not extra waste going out into the sewer system or otherwise. I think the exponential realities that'll come from this park as people start to adapt it and love it in new and exciting ways, they're just going to pay off tenfold. So.
That's really exciting. Thank you for sharing some of the secret sustainability features that people might not have noticed, but hopefully will appreciate.
There's even more than you might know, so please come out and enjoy the park. I'll be glad to tell you more about it.
I will.
Thank you so much, Krista. And if you haven't been down to Howard Park, be sure to take some time to head down there. They've done a wonderful job. It's really beautiful. And what I love about it is you can go there winter, spring, summer, or fall. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had great feedback about a documentary that we showed on Experience Michiana. So we wanted to show you again in case you missed it. Here it's coming next week, so be sure to join us. It's going to be great. As always, Experience Michiana, and be sure to get out and experience this great weather.
This WNIT local production has been made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.